I know right now the market is crazy. It is crazy. Just this past weekend, we wrote 3 or 4 offers for clients. We're still waiting to hear back from one of them. And I knew I just had to do this video because the competition is fierce right now. So since the competition is fierce right now, I see some people, including my clients, are writing offers that, to be honest with you, they just don't have a chance in this particular market. So in this video, we're going to cover some of the ways that you can improve your offer, some of the ways that I'm seeing that people are writing poor offers. And I know what you're thinking, right? You're probably saying to yourself, Abraham, this is the first time I'm buying a house. I don't have much money. I don't have these different things, and I get it. But I want to make sure that you're positioned to understand what's going on in the market. So this is Abraham Walker. So let's get into how people are writing losing offers. Let's talk about the very first thing, which is the home inspection. The way I like to talk to my clients about home inspection is there's actually 3 types of home inspections you can choose. One, you could choose a full-blown home inspection where the seller knows that you're going to ask for something. I would say that's a traditional home inspection. That's something that you've most likely seen on TV. This is something that you've probably already heard about, where the seller knows that you're going to come in with this inspector, inspect the gadget, and this individual is going to find something, and you will most likely ask the seller to remedy some things, right? Either repair some things or to provide you with some type of compensation for any deficiencies found in the property. So that's the first type of home inspection. The second type of home inspection is actually a home inspection where it's just for your information only, right? It's called an option to void. And what this home inspection allows you to do is to inspect the property and then to determine whether or not the property fits your needs. This still allows you an opportunity to get out of the contract if you find something during the home inspection period. The last type of home inspection is no home inspection. Yes. Why am I bringing this up? Because we're starting to see more and more and more offers where people are removing home inspections altogether. And I gotta say, if you've never purchased a home before, or maybe you're moving to the Northern Virginia area from a lower cost of living market and you're not used to spending $500,000 on a property, right? Like, you're not used to spending this kind of money. Buying a home without a home inspection can be terrifying. Well, I just want to let you know, as more and more people do it, you have to start to come to terms with the fact that if you're going to buy a house right now, this is what the other people are doing. Now, there is a way to get around the home inspection. So, because I want to make sure that we have some value in this video series, and I know that some people watch this video, they're already working with the real estate agent. I understand, I get it. But I want to make sure that you're up on game as far as how to position yourself to reduce the risk associated with buying a house. You've only been in a house, 15, 20 minutes, and now you're saying you're going to buy it and put a loan on it. It sounds crazy because it is crazy. It is crazy, right? Don't get me wrong. You're not in this alone. This is crazy. If everybody's doing the crazy thing, then, it's the norm. One thing we recommend to our clients, and we're going to be doing this tomorrow morning with a client for a property in Springfield, is it's actually called a walk and talk inspection. And I would say inspection loosely. It's a loose term for an inspection, but you do have a licensed home inspector walk through the property with you, check out the major systems at your showing, right? Now, the strategy is a little pricey if you consider that you're probably with the home inspector anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour, and it costs about $260, $270 or so for this walk and talk inspection. But what this allows you to do is you got to be honest with yourself, right? You're not going to be asking for anything during a home inspection anyway. So the home inspection right now, as far as like during these times, during this extreme seller's market, is just for you to know that, the house isn't falling apart. Because, I'm a real estate agent. You're just a person with a job. We don't really know what's going on in these houses, right? Sure. I've been to several home inspections. I've seen, way more houses than most normal humans. So I may notice some things, but I don't know what it is. This is where the home inspector comes in. This walk and talk, which can be done before you put an offer on the property, right? This walk and talk inspection idea is best suited for individuals who A, have a little money on their hand because, like I said, it's $260, $270, and then B, you're going to have to make a decision on whether or not you want to invest this money up front, right? So it's important that if inspections are important to you, that we figure out a way to get it. But you got to ask yourself, if you're a seller and you got, 7, 10, 12, 15, 20 offers, and somebody gives you high offer price and they remove the home inspection, which offer would you choose? You would most likely choose the one without the home inspection, right? But if it's important to you, get the walk and talk inspection. If you want more information about this whole process, now I can't talk to you if you already have a real estate agent. Just know that, I don't want to to step across the line. But if you're coming into the market, holler at me and let me know if you have any questions about this process, right? So that's the home inspection. So that's the first way people are losing deals right now. They have a home inspection contingency. The second way people are losing deals is through financing. Now, the financing contingency is a sticky subject, right? Because you may be thinking to yourself, well, Abraham, how can people write all these offers and it's several offers with no financing contingency? How can they have essentially, a cash deal on their hands? Well, that's not the case, right? So you have to remember, these contingencies are here just to protect your earnest money deposit. So whatever your earnest money deposit is, that is what's on the line. Now, in addition to the earnest money deposit, you can also be sued for specific performance, right? That's where somebody sues you to perform on the contract if you violate the contract. And again, I'm not an attorney, or maybe I haven't said this yet. I'm not an attorney. I don't play one on TV, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express. So consult with an attorney if you're going to do anything that sounds like an attorney should be involved, okay? So again, with these financing contingency, right? So we're starting to see more offers where the financing contingency is being removed altogether, but these people do not have cash. And what's happening is these individuals are risking their earnest money deposit by saying, you know what, we're just going to remove this contingency, this barrier to our contract from our offer altogether. You have that option, but there is a way that you can know that you already have the financing under control, right? And there are a few lenders, I work with a couple where, and you can ask your lender this too, right? So I don't want to make this seem like this is like some type of proprietary information that only Abraham has access to. That's just not true. But you can work with a few lenders in the area where they will actually get you fully approved for the loan. The only thing you need is to find a property, right? So that allows you, A, to remove the financing contingency altogether, but B, it's going to take you more time to go through the financing portion up front if you do this, right? Because it's going to require more paperwork. It's going to require some due diligence on the lender on your behalf. But this is about winning. We're talking about winning houses. We're not talking about making offers. A lot of people right now are making offers. They have no chance of winning because, their offers suck right now. So again, with financing, you want to try to get approved, fully approved. Some lenders will do this. A lot of the credit unions, unfortunately, do not offer this product. And we talk to some people like this who are adamant about using a particular financing institution that doesn't have these programs. And I gotta be honest with you, if the goal is to win, your lender doesn't come over to your house for barbecues and picnics and stuff like that. So our only use for this individual who's providing us this money is to get the money. But if we don't get these houses under contract, if we don't get your house under contract, then what good are they to us, right? If they're hindering our process, then we have to look at other strategies, other ways of figuring, move this game piece around to win this game, right? So that's financing, right? So what do we say? Some people are removing financing contingency altogether. And what does that mean? Well, that means that you will either have to consider removing the financing contingency, not knowing if you could really get financing, or you can choose a lender that will allow you to become fully approved. And the lender will say, you know what, we can remove the financing contingency altogether. So that's the second way people are losing offers right now. The third way people are losing offers right now is, believe it or not, it's tied to the financing, but it is a separate issue. It's called the appraisal. So now the appraisal is, I would say, a sticky subject right now because let's say, for instance, like last week, like I said, we wrote 3 or 4 offers, and I think 2 times we were beaten by individuals who removed the appraisal contingency altogether, and they had a higher offer than ours. What does that mean when somebody removes the appraisal contingency? Well, it means you're on the hook for that difference between the contract price, right? Whatever price you and the seller negotiated to, and the appraised value. And a lot of homes right now are coming on the market above any logical number whatsoever, and they're getting bid up even further past that number, right? So it's a risky situation when you say to yourself, you know what, I'm going to waive the appraisal, because you're going to be on the hook for a nice chunk of change if that appraisal comes in at this month's value, right? Last month's value. I mean, in one scenario, I think one property we bid on this week, I think it's already up this year alone by $50,000. It's a townhouse. You know what I mean? So that's risky, right? And so a lot of this conversation is about your risk tolerance, right? Like how much risk can you tolerate when it comes to the EMD, losing your EMD? How much risk can you tolerate with how much cash will you have to bring to the table, right? So what does this mean with the appraisal? Let's give you a real world example. Have a listing, it's listed at $600,000. Get a couple offers in. One offer comes in above list price with an escalation clause. What is an escalation clause? An escalation clause is a document that automatically increases your offer past any competing offer, right? So the offer escalates. So this escalation clause goes up to $650,000. So that's, we have a property on the market at $600,000, and then it escalates up to $650,000. A competing offer comes in at $640,000. So we escalate that offer past that $640,000. Now remember what I told you earlier. Houses are already coming on the market at insane numbers to begin with. So that means that $600,000 was already a stretch for that particular property. So when the appraisal comes in, and this is what you need to know when you start to remove the appraisal contingency, because a lot of these houses are not appraising, but people are coming to the table with cash. When the appraisal comes in, the appraiser is looking at past sales data, right? So this is information from the past. So like right now, this video is being shot at the end of April. So at the end of April, if an appraisal is done right now, that means that the appraiser is going to be looking at past sales that have happened in April, March, February, January. So in the past 6 months, like I just told you, one townhouse that my client put an offer on is already increased in value by $50,000. When did that $50,000 increase happen? Well, it's been happening all of a sudden, right? In these last 2 or 3 months is when the biggest jumps have occurred. Well, if there aren't enough comparable properties, which is what the appraiser uses, which are other properties that are similar to the home that you're putting an offer on, then the appraiser can't find the value to support your current offer. Or the appraiser could find value to support the list price, right? The price that came on the market. And in this example, the house came on the market at $600,000. So if you wind up winning this property, right, this house that was listed at $600,000 that escalated past $640,000, and you remove the appraisal contingency, then that means that you, based on the contract, you're now on the hook for $40,000 above the appraised value. Now I know what you're saying. Well, Abraham, that's not that bad. I was going to bring, some change to the table anyway. But you got to remember, your loan most likely has a down payment. Your down payment is tied to the appraised value. So that means that you're bringing to the table the down payment tied to the appraised value, plus any overage above that appraised price. I got to say, that's where the risk comes in. This is where the risk comes in. Now, if you have deep pockets, maybe you have some investments, or maybe you just are liquid right now at this time, then this isn't an issue for you. And this is what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of people right now who have done a great job in the past of saving money. And so now they have more options. They can win these offers. They can put themselves in this position. And that's why we're seeing such rapid appreciation right now, because people are paying above the appraised value. But if you're not one of those people, then you have to be honest with yourself about competing in those scenarios. So what can you do about that? Remember, we're providing you solutions to not losing these offers. One thing you can do with the appraisal is you can actually do something called a gap appraisal, where you'll say to the seller on the contract, you'll say, you know what, I'm interested in guaranteeing or covering a gap of $5, $10, $15,000, $20,000, right? And so then that way you control your investment, right? Because now it's not an infinite amount, right? From the appraisal to the contract price. So what does that mean in this example? Let's continue on this example, right? So we have a property that was listed at $600,000. It appraised at $600,000. You're under contract for $640,000. So that means that you have a $40,000 deficit to cover. But if you had an appraisal gap clause in your contract, let's say it's for $20,000. So you tell the seller, I'm going to pay $20,000 over the appraised value. I guarantee that I'll do that. Then that means that you're really on the hook for $600,000 plus the $20,000 over. So that controls your losses. Now, this is one thing I had to talk to a client about this weekend. Let's say, for instance, this house doesn't appraise. The seller doesn't have to sell it to you if it doesn't appraise and they agree to your gap coverage, right? In this particular market too, that we're in, sellers are seeing that the prices are just slowly going up every month. So if the property doesn't appraise while you're under contract, you do run a risk of the seller not agreeing to the terms to reduce the sales price to that appraised number or even your gap number, right? So again, this is the risk that's involved with buying in a extreme seller's market like we're in right now. And so as long as you know why people are doing what they're doing or how they structure these deals, then you'll be fine, right? And then as long as you are prepared to mitigate the risk, then you'll be fine. But it is risky right now. So that's the third way. Now I want to give you a couple bonus ways that I'm seeing people lose deals. Right? I'm seeing people lose deals, and it's just strictly from the contract perspective. And remember, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not your lawyer. Anyone's attorney. I'm a real estate agent. So I'll consult with a lawyer if you have a lawyer question. Okay, so on the session, let's talk about a couple other ways people are losing deals. Low earnest money deposit, right? So the earnest money deposit is the thing that lets the seller know that your deal is serious. So typically speaking, we usually see about a 1% earnest money deposit on a contract. So in the example I gave just previously, $600,000 property, you are escalating up to $650,000. So you would put down a 1% of that $650,000. So $6,500. Now, you may think that that's a nice chunk of change. Remember now, we're competing. This is a competition. So that means that other people are going to be doing things as well to make their contract stand out. So what I would suggest is, if you have an appraisal gap, then use that figure as your earnest money deposit. Now, again, a lot of people don't have liquid cash. They don't have immediate access to it. Maybe it's in retirement accounts, or maybe it's an investment account. So they have to make some moves with their money, which is understandable. But if you're going to start making offers, then just know that people are putting huge earnest money deposits on some of these contracts. I'm talking about $50,000, $100,000. It's getting up there, right? And this is really just individuals taking either their appraisal gap or they're taking their down payment and they're just using that as the earnest money deposit. Like I said, that's risky. It's so risky. You know, sometimes with some of these contracts we're writing right now, I get nervous for my client. Like, I get nervous. And it's not even my money, right? It's not my money. I'm not going to pay the mortgage, but I just feel that risk is real. It's tangible right now. So that's just what's going on. Okay, last way that I'm seeing people lose out on homes right now is choosing a lender that has a bad reputation. Now, I don't want to say any lenders' names in this particular video because I believe that a lender could probably sue me for doing that. But if you want to know, just holler at me later. There are some lenders in this market right now. And like I said, I'm not going to use any names, but there's one lender in particular that most agents dislike, and usually veterans use this particular organization. It's a credit union as well. And this particular organization has a strong hold on their clientele, right? Their clients feel very passionate about the brand and they want to use this particular company. But I have to let you know, this company, we have another client that we put an offer in for this past week, and the lender told us that they would need a 50-day closing. I said, what are you talking about? Yes, you heard me right. This lender said that we would need 50 days to close on a property. Now, I know what you're thinking yourself. Abraham, 50 days isn't that much, right? I mean, that's less than 2 months. Well, remember, we're in a competition right now. Any property that's worth purchasing right now is going to be in a competitive situation, especially the new listings. If your lender tells you that they can't close in 30 days, think about that. Why would a seller do that to themselves, right? Why? But there's some lenders, if you choose a lender who tells you something like that, and I mean, you're diminishing your chances of securing a property, and you're going to make this whole process much more challenging for yourself, right? And for what? I don't understand like why people, even some of my clients, they do this to themselves where they forget that the goal is to secure the house by any means necessary, right? And so if this lender is causing you not to be able to perform the way other people are performing or better, then we have to start to look for alternatives. We just have to. So that's it for me. What do you think about this live show session? You know, tomorrow I actually close a deal with my first YouTube buyer, right? So somebody who saw one of my videos reached out to me, and we're closing on that deal tomorrow. So that's exciting. I'm glad that this medium is working. You know, we're starting to hear a lot of feedback from my viewers, starting to work with some of you as well. And this is pretty cool. So since this channel is designed to educate you about where to live in Northern Virginia, the home buying process, the home selling process, if you have a topic you want me to cover, I'll gladly do the research and jump on and either do one of these live streams, or I will do an edited video like some of my other pieces. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.